You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Coming to you live from 1776. In 1776, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, as the famous line goes. That's why so many presidents love that damned holiday. Not because of the mid-1900s Knights of Columbus making it a thing. Welcome to President Curtis, courtesy of Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast. Hey,
Okay.
everybody.
I want everybody to know. I want everybody to know right from the jump. Those are as big of a surprise to me as they are to you guys. Like I don't get to QC those before we go live. That just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those damn Knights of Columbus. Because Columbus Day wasn't a thing for a long time in American history. And then mid 1900s, I think maybe like the 1950s, which is mid 1900s, Knights of Columbus came over and they're like, you know what? We really need to make this a thing. And that's why we have Columbus Day. And, you know, some states are changing it to Indigenous Peoples Day, which I prefer. Columbus was a huge, huge monster. And I hate that we celebrate anything having to do with them. That's right. Welcome to Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast. I am Brandon.
And I'm Travis. I do feel like what you just said is a potential episode premise for President Curtis. Like Columbus is actually a huge sci-fi monster, and they have to fight him in order to preserve, national holidays or something like that.
Now, granted, I haven't seen all of the season yet, so it's
oh, that's
possible.
true. That could be a one-off prediction. I should watch ahead. Welcome everybody to Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast, President Curtis edition. That's right. We are spinning off just like Adult Swim with the new series, President Curtis, now halfway through its first season. If you're new here, if you're like a huge President Curtis stan and know nothing about Rick and Morty, we're glad you're here. If you're a longtime fan of the show, we're also glad that you're returning for these episodes. If you want to get in touch with us in any way, shape, or form, plenty of ways you can do that. You can find us on X at Rick and Morty Pod, over on Facebook, facebook.com/Rick and Morty Podcast, on Instagram, Rick and Morty Podcast. Email us, rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com, and find us over on Blue Sky. If Brandon's opener wasn't enough to tell you that we're on Blue Sky, rickandmortypod.bsky.social. All right, Reddit. You can find us on the official Rick and Morty subreddit, rickandmorty.reddit.com. I think we're there, right? Like present, we're lurking.
Yeah.
You have like the most karma imaginable, possibly.
There's over 2 million Redditors in the subreddit for the Rick and Morty subreddit. And a lot of times they all see my posts, discussion posts, and you can see discussion posts like the ones that I'm spending a lot of time on for President Curtis, season 1. Go out there, check it out.
You've been getting up in them discussions. You hashing it out with the Redditors.
Yeah. We're going all out. We did hire a few new mods recently. Because there is a little bit of a workload with moderation, in moderation, moderation in moderation. What is this?
You know where there's not a lot of workload? Over on our subreddit, rickandmortypodcast.reddit.com. You can also go to our website, rickandmortypod.com. If you want video versions of any of our podcasts, you can go to youtube.com/apathetic enthusiasm. You can find Interdimensional RSS, Apathetic Enthusiasm. Still got some our real relationships going on out there. Is that
We haven't done an episode lately, but maybe after this I'll make I'll get Chelsea and I together and we'll talk about something. Or Dexter and I went and see new Spider-Man, so we can
Spider-Man. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the movie. Spotter man. He's a spotter. If you want to support our podcast, because clearly this is going well, you can go to patreon.com/apathetic enthusiasm. It's a pretty good opener. It's been fun. I've laughed several times. And that's what a professional host does. Thanks to the patrons over at patreon.com/apathetic enthusiasm for supporting all of our podcasting endeavors. We're here. It's live. We've worked out some technical snafus. Thanks, John, for breaking Discord or whatever's going on. How you feeling? You feeling loose? You feeling ripping, raring to go? You have a
Yeah, man.
chainsaw on
Yeah.
your shirt. It says
Yeah,
chainsaw.
it's part of the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards 2024. I just have this shirt because Fangoria does. I'm a horror movie fan, and so Fangoria does horror movie awards every year. This is just an old shirt, but I feel pretty good. I also I ran 2 miles this morning with
In
my
a
brother.
row?
No, actually, we walked a good
Okay.
amount.
All right.
But
I mean,
but
it still counts as 2 miles on your watch when you hit stop. Like it
That's
doesn't.
right.
You don't got to dig into the pace and all that other nonsense.
I didn't use my watch, so maybe it doesn't count.
I regret to inform you, it doesn't count. Yeah. Unless you're using a wearable technology and record it on some sort of app, the fitness does not count. Yeah,
I was wearing
your
shorts.
your body gains no effects. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into the podcast. We're gonna start in a segment that I like to call semi-pertinent news.
Semi-pertinent news. Well, everybody, I have some semi-pertinent news. So this is all we have for semi-pertinent news. There might be some other stuff in there, but Travis just gets to sit back, relax, and this is actually the first time he's hearing any of this too.
It's true. You've been really quiet this week. Honestly, I thought you were ignoring me or something. I don't know. You're avoiding me. You get busy. You get busy.
Yeah. Real work was pissing me off. So I was focused on that for a little bit. But before I got to do that, being pissed off, I went to Silver Lake, down in Silver Lake, California. There's an organization called Silver Lake Shorts, and they do, I think, like maybe monthly or bi-weekly some events, right? And it's animation. They do animation. They just kind of like started to focus on animation. I talked to one of the creators, and he's like, yeah, it just happened to be like animation like started to be more of what we did. So it was at this place called El Cid, which is like some I guess it's a fancy place in downtown LA, Silver Lake area, where they do a lot of after parties or for like the end of the season, right? Season wrap parties. So like some Smiling Friends, they did their I Think You Should Leave season 3. They did their wrap party there, things like that. I had press passes. Adult Swim got me in, and I brought it. I had a +1. It wasn't Travis.
I will stay on record. I was invited. I was just somewhat outside of the available area to attend. So a huge thank you for allowing my surrogate Ryan to go and hang out with Brandon because I could not be there. Yeah.
Yes. Now Ryan is our longtime friend. We've known him
over 20 years, 2 decades. Unbelievable.
He now works with me at my real job. And I was like, I need a +1. Hey, Ryan, you want to go? He's like, sure, yeah. And so he's never seen the show. And what's interesting is we go in there and we get like, there's a line of people waiting to go inside. I call up Adult Swim press, and they're like, yeah, no, we'll pick you up around the side. So walk over to this other door and we'll come get you. And so walk down the steps. And the first person we run into is Ian Cardone.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. Fans may know him as the voice of Rick Sanchez on Rick and Morty.
Yeah. He was there with what I assume is his wife, and I'm like, oh shit, there's people here, right? Like that's my initial reaction, like, oh crap, and. I didn't take any anti-anxiety or anything ahead of time or like any drinking. I was like,
you're just raw dogging this event. You're just going in cold. Still got your Roosevelt shirt on from work, probably.
And I say hi to him and then just joke about how you were stalking him at the Comic-Con.
That's right.
And they're like, Yeah, we saw him. We spotted him out of the crowd.
It's hard to
but
miss this shiny noggin. Yeah.
it's hard to miss. But then like I look over and there's like where we walk down, it's kind of like a raised platform. They got tables and stuff up there. But then downstairs, you walk downstairs and there's a little bar area. And then I look down like, oh, look at that, Stan Harmon, cool. It's like literal stone's throw distance, like somebody a nerd who can't throw. That's how close he was. Stone's throw. And so he's like talking to like Levy and talk. So I'm like, oh no, oh no. So Ryan who knows nobody, and I'm like Dan Harmon. He's like, yeah, I've heard that name before. We get some drinks. We get some drink tickets from Adult Swim. They were kind enough to get some free drinks, and so vodka tonic. Let's do this.
Refreshing summer beverage. That's right.
But met a few people. Saw Jacob Hare. We talked to Jacob a couple years ago at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And so we met him there. So I think he recognized me, but he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, okay, whew, okay. And so we talked for a little bit. Now that was cool. So then
what
like,
was like the format of the event? This is all like prior to like the structure, like people just kind of milling about as people are like trying to come in, or was that?
Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly it, right? It's almost like a happy hour, like icebreaker type of, like everyone's just hanging out, getting some drinks and talking, and they're like Scott Martyr comes down and he hugs James McDermott, and like then they're talking like and you're just, me and Ryan are as far back against the wall as possible. So
you're like doing your best Homer Simpson meme, just trying to like fade into the bushes. Yeah.
So after that then other people, the people who are waiting in line, they start coming down. And then the event itself, we go into, it's basically like there's another bar inside, but then there's like a little theater area, and there's like rows of chairs. So Ryan and I sat down. We sat down behind Kelly Cruz, who is high up there in Adult Swim, and Chelsea knows, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
She's always like, "Tell Chelsea I said hi. How is Chelsea doing? I love her so much." So what they did was they showed a video, and so the video was all of season 9. They showed clips of season 9, like some of the best clips to show like the complexity and the talent and animation.
Yeah.
It showed like the Vacation Rick, like when he's like doing like all the when they're doing the spaceship and they're leaving that space to go attack Rick. They show when for the SIP, not the SIPTIDs, but like the sympathids.
Sympathids. Yeah.
Where Morty sympathizes with an explosion, like they show that scene, right? And so it was really, really cool. And what was really cool to me was I see a lot of people who've worked on the show, who work on the show, and like they're all like enjoying the clips too. Like it's fun like watching their reactions to their own work. And like
to that point, like one of the things that I think is really cool about animation is how much of a team effort like every scene is, right? Like you have writers that come up with the words, come up with the ideas. You have animators that maybe are just like working on a piece of it but don't see the show as a whole. Obviously voice actors bringing that talent, musicians. So like you work on it and you like build the process, and like, but really until it's on TV or you're like watching it there with a group, you don't always see like the finished like result of all of that combined talent. And so yeah, I think that's really cool that they can also appreciate those aspects of it when they're watching it at an event like that.
Yeah, 100%. And then so after they after those clips go, and that's like 22 minutes of clips, then they had a little panel. And so on the panel they had Dan Harmon, James McDermott, long time Rick and Morty guy, right? We have a couple of his books, right?
Right.
The artwork, right? Jacob Hare is up there. I did talk to him before, and I asked him about the movie stuff. Carol Wyatt, she hosted the panel, and then we had Anna Hollingsworth. And I apologize to the other woman who was up there. I didn't get her name, but I think she was up there with Jacob Hare when we were at Comic-Con. So I think it's that same one. So yeah, so then they just kind of like did roundtable discussion, and it was fun. It was really cool, and then everybody got down, and then there was like an after party. Basically, it was like the icebreaker, but now it's just the same thing, but now everyone's been drinking, so
so your favorite is like more unstructured social interaction. Like your absolute favorite.
Yeah. After the thing was done, we saw our Adult Swim PR kind of rep that we know that we see all the time. And she was like, "I'm about to Irish goodbye." I was like, "All right, good, yeah."
You gotta tell me twice. Yeah.
And then as I was walking out, I think she was talking to Steve Levy. I was like, "You did not do a good job of Irish goodbying." Bye. And so then Ryan and I we had one more vodka tonic ticket, and so we're taking that out, and then I stopped Carol White and I just said, "Hey, Brandon Cruz, International RSS, Rick and Morty podcast, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I'm from. I just want to say thank you for what you've done on the show so far." And she's like, "Oh, thank you." And that's all I was gonna do, right? And then I saw James McDermott, and I did the same thing. And I was like, "Hey, real quick introduction. I just want to say thank you for all you've done. Like, you fantastic work all these years." And then he sat there and talked to us for like 20 minutes to me and Ryan.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to talk to him and Ryan, who knows nothing
about the show
anything,
whatsoever. Yeah.
but is a good kind of question person, right? Because he's like interested in like the creativity and like how people are creative, and so he asked some pretty good questions. And then I said, "Ryan, you're much better at asking questions than I am." He said, "No, I thought you did really good. I can even tell that you were starstruck." I was like, I think you can tell I was starstruck because you just said that out loud. But anyways, it was a good event. It was really fun. And I really thank Adult Swim for giving us that opportunity to, be around all the folks that guide and create the show that we have done over 325 episodes of, or something like that, or 235 episodes.
That's wild. That's the fact that we've been making this show for as long as, like, this podcast for as long as we have, every so often it was like, "Oh, how long have you been doing that?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, wow, it's been like a decade that we've been talking about Rick and Morty." But yeah, a huge thanks to Adult Swim for inviting us out, and even though I couldn't go, I'm glad you were there. I'm glad you were able to experience it. Hopefully there will be more. Hopefully there will be more opportunities.
Yeah.
Was there anything discussed in the panel that like stood out as like things you hadn't heard before, or like insights of like, or were you just like two in your head to remember any of that?
What I'll do is I will post my my iPhone notes, because I just had it on like transcription mode, just like listening in. And so unfiltered, sometimes pausing because technology sucks. I'll just post the whole thing somewhere, maybe on our Patreon.
All right, yeah, that's a plug for Patreon. Give some love to the patrons out there. So
I did talk to, as I said, I talked to Jacob Hare, right, and he is directing the Rick and Morty movie. So I asked him, like, I didn't ask him. I was like, "Hey, congrats on the directorial debut," and just a little bit of a conversation about how, like, all that stuff wasn't supposed to come out. And when it did come out, he was like, I don't know if I'm even allowed to talk about this anymore. And our PR person was like, not our PR person, but Adult Swim was like, yeah, like it was okay. It worked out, but somebody leaked it somewhere.
Oh
And
wow.
so
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so that's
Which, I mean, we've worked with the network long enough that certain things they like to keep under wraps for sure. And so the fact that that's something that got out unintentionally is unfortunate, but and surprising.
And Jacob's like, am I going to get fired now? Because it's out, but
Unlike unlike Schraub, who was like, "Oh, you guys do the podcast? Let me tell you about specific plot points for upcoming episodes that have not been announced yet." So yeah. I mean, we won't get Schraub in trouble, but very exciting stuff. I'm glad you got to be there, and that's going to take up a quarter of this episode and all of semi-pertinent news. But if you see or hear of a semi-pertinent news story that you think we should cover in an upcoming episode, hit us up on all of those relevant links, and we will get that to you in an upcoming episode. All right, we are going to take a very brief break, but when we come back, we have the 5th episode of President Curtis to talk about. So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Unless you're on YouTube, in which case we didn't actually go anywhere. Go to the YouTube. check out the video version. All right. It is now time for us to cover the spinoff, the ripoff show. It is time for a segment we like to call The Main Thing.
The Main Thing.
Have you been binge watching Home Improvement? I feel like that's more than one Home Improvement reference you've made recently on the pod.
Let's not. I don't want to get into it too, but I feel like I've heard a lot more Home Improvement stuff lately. Like I saw Kristen Shaw on a podcast, and she, I forget the guy's name, but it was a quiz of, is it Tim Allen's grunt, or is it not Tim Allen's grunt, or is it an impersonator? And it was like, and then it was like, and Kristen Shaw was like, that's not Tim Allen. That's like, correct. That's a silverback gorilla. Anyways,
all right.
That's
okay.
Right.
Well, we watched an episode of President Curtis, the 5th episode. This one entitled David, air date August 23rd, 2026, written by Mallory Mosley and directed by Molly Helms, with guest stars Janine Garofalo, John Glazer, Carrie Kenny Silver, and Jane Lynch. Quite the cast, the supporting cast for this episode. It was Jane Lynch was like immediately stood out to me. I was like, oh, I recognize that voice as soon as she was a party member in that dark room talking to President Curtis.
So you have Janine Garofalo, Wet Hot American Summer. Then you have Carrie Kenny Silver, who was in The State, and she was, which a lot of Wet Hot American Summer people are from. And then Jane Lynch, who was in Role Models with a hot dog. I don't know if I've seen John Glazer in any of their movies.
He has done a lot of Adult Swim work. Like he's done a lot of voice acting. He's a lot of yeah. So I
love John Glazer.
Carrie Kenny Silver, I actually there's a show on Netflix. It's Tina Fey's show, 4 Seasons. She's one of the leads on that show, and she's hilarious on that show. It's really good stuff. So just bringing in some big names for President Curtis. What I will say and this isn't feedback for the producers or anything. They don't list them as guest stars in the credits. It just has like cast, and then it has like another page of cast while President Curtis is in the shower singing his end of episode song. So I'm like pausing, I'm checking, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure. Yep, okay, these are the guest stars. So,
Are you doing like an 80s, late 80s Skinamax, like trying to look between the bars thing? You're talking about like pausing it while Curtis is in the shower.
Yeah, no, it's very clear. It's very clear. I can see everything.
So you can see his dongle.
We'll get to that later. All right. Do you want to read the official synopsis for this episode?
Oh, yeah. Real quick, when we should talk about the dongle thing, remind me in a little bit when we talk about it. Okay, official synopsis. After butting heads with his own party, Curtis visits Camp David to undergo a true test of his presidential prowess. Our synopsis. Curtis fights a water witch while the White House staff salutes their shorts. That's right, because it's camp time.
We should be writing the official synopsis as well, I think. We're punching them up. Sorry, I'm trying to make a dongle note.
Just grab your crotch and be like, Brandon.
I wrote dongle on a Lorcana card. So now, okay. All right. So, this episode, I had actually not watched this one yet. I think this was where I had gotten to in my initial watching of the season before we did our preseason kind of primer review for the show. I have seen next week's episode because it was covered pretty heavily at Comic-Con. I'm very excited for it. It is Hollow. The next episode is Hollow. This episode interesting. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like there are concepts or ideas that are happening in these episodes that seem very similar to stuff that happened in the recent season of Rick and Morty. And I'm like, was there some cross-pollination between some writers' room? Was it some sort of like what do you call it where you put the textbook under your pillow and try to learn it that way? It's osmosis. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Like the idea of like the staff going to Camp David and there being like, it's like a camp scenario and stuff like that. Right after we came off the Rick and Morty season where they go to that camp and things kind of get out of control.
Which Janine Garofalo is also in.
Yeah. Maybe it's all Janine's fault. I don't know.
Yeah, Janine
Garofalo should come on this podcast and clear her name. Oh man, that'd be fun. Yeah. All right. So 2 major themes in this episode. Of course, the main theme being that Camp David is actually some sort of mind duel challenge with an ancient water witch named David. Every president throughout history, or like since like Roosevelt's, have had to go and do like a Vision Quest-esque experience out at Camp David. That's the reason presidents go to Camp David, is to keep the water witch like at bay, and they have to so they have to survive the night, individually. Otherwise, they can like give up the kingdom, which will free the water witch. I don't know. What'd you think about that idea, that concept, Brandon?
Let's see. I watched. Very disclosure-y time. I watched it one time while I was making some green chili on the stove, and the house smells delightful. You guys would love it if you're a green chili fan. But here's what I'll say. The the witch being named David, I thought, well, actually, I'll stop that and just say, like, is it interesting that they went the direction they did with it? Like, uh, I'm interested how you go from, like, okay, Camp David to there's a water witch and this is like a vision quest slash like walkabout. You might as well be on ayahuasca. Like how they made that leap. That's interesting to me. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
from like a horror movie kind of like sci-fi kind of perspective. I like the idea that, and we've seen it in Rick and Morty with President Curtis, where it's like, okay, like he can, everything that Rick's doing, he can basically like do the same thing, right? Like they're fairly even as far as like fucking around with each other. Um, so it's a little Rick and Morty for President Curtis to go head to head with this witch and just be like, everything you're doing, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be honest, those scenes where Curtis is interacting with the witch, right up until the turn where the witch gets the best of him, I was like, the first couple I was like, all right, this is kind of interesting or funny, like a premise, but then I was like, he seems so unaffected by any of it that I was like, okay, where does this
where's the tension coming?
Where's the tension? Where's the conflict? Because he's like, I'm just gonna stay here all night. You can't physically touch me, and I'm just gonna keep ignoring all the stuff you're throwing at me. There's the moment with the spiders where he like acts scared, and then he like moons them or something, or like he has the spider run into his butt, and so I don't know, like. It until the actual, like, where he kind of loses himself in the illusion, that for me was kind of like, all right, like let's and it took a minute because they were also developing. Honestly, I feel like they developed more time with the B plot of the episode, which was revolving more around like what everybody else at the White House does while the president is doing this annual ritual or whatever, however often they do it, which is they go to Camp David and like it's a summer camp. It's an actual camp, and they're playing camp games. There's all the normal like arts and crafts and like things that you would expect at a summer camp, but we learn about the White House lifers, right? The people who work at the White House that are not affiliated with a given party, and they're non-political. They're just government staff that are there to work, and presidents come and go, but they keep plugging along, and they've become kind of like elitist about it. They're like yeah, they're a clique. That's right. And so they bully Banks a little bit when they first get there. She kind of likes it. But yeah, so you have this relationship where Banks, who is unsure because of the beginning of the episode, her standing with Curtis and how well she's doing, kind of gravitates more towards those lifers, and kind of risks her relationship with Curtis at the same time.
Yeah. I think going into like the very end of the episode, I everything comes together. Banks becomes friends with this clique, and there's a book that every president has had of like embarrassing moments and stuff like that. And so Banks is taking part in that, like, oh, he sits down when he pees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the witch gets out. She, because President Curtis quits in whatever
what is it, Burrito Rama, I think is what it's called,
because he's like, I don't want to wash these dishes. Yeah, the reason this guy
you can't fire me, I quit.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of like side note on that. There's a little bit of like, isn't the point of the witch like that he I get that she tricks him, but it's like it's supposed to be more fear based, not like you. I don't have to do this shit. I quit. Right?
I mean, yeah, I guess it is like fear based, but it's using. Well, so it's like they use their vulnerability to trap her again. So I think maybe it's just like taking advantage of insecurities and vulnerabilities. So like the way she initially tries to get at him is by being a mother who is disappointed, right? And then she comes in the form of an unrealized child that could never be because his relationship failed and things like that, right? And spiders, because spiders. Yeah, so yeah, he's walking through a very long-grassed version of Afghanistan. And like the soldier like crawls up and he's like, "I died because you made the wrong decision." And he's like, "I'm not gonna flip him over because I know it's just gonna be my own face." But like all of those things are trying to get in his head psychologically and make him sort of doubt himself, I think. And so yeah, like I guess with the manager of the Burrito Rama, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, him quitting the Burrito Rama is like he's like it's still like he's not giving up. He's like, no, like I'm taking advantage. I don't know. It just I get it.
I can spin it in the way that like she was basically pulling at the "you're not good enough, like you can't even wash the refried beans off this plate." And he's like, "I am, like I'm so good, I'm the president." And the reality is like he wasn't a good dishwasher. Like that was true about him. And instead of accepting those limits or accepting that he's not perfect, he's like, I'm gonna quit and leave this job instead of like letting you fire me because of this reason. I'm gonna try to, and it just so happened that he said the words "I quit," which is what frees her from the swamp.
The swamp. So now let's go now that what my original point was going to get to eventually, which is the end of the episode. So is the idea that this witch is trying to take advantage of people's vulnerabilities that they don't want to admit, and by them admitting it, that creates a barrier that's like, you can't make me feel stupid because I already feel stupid, and here's why I feel stupid. Is that the idea?
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that. I think so.
Okay.
I think that might be it. Yeah.
Is it? It's
I
like,
watched
it's like
it twice, so I'm not that. I wasn't making green chilies at the time, but I only watched it.
Yeah.
Twice. Yeah.
Because I guess I think of it like like when you like when you shit your pants, Travis, and like someone's like, "Hey, it smells like shit in here," right? And you're like, "Hey, everybody, it's because I shit my pants." And so like you're just kind of like getting ahead of it, right?
Yeah, that's
like,
how I usually go about that scenario.
You can't.
I definitely don't leave the room or try to clean up in any way.
You can't embarrass me. I shat my pants, everybody. And then like everybody like does like a little slow clap because they're like, "Yeah, I'm so proud of you." And like, and
then the water witch gets captured. Yeah, exactly.
And then somebody across the way is like, "I pissed myself too." Like
they're like, "Get out of here! You're disgusting."
That's nasty. Pants shitting? That happens. You have control of your piss. Yeah. Good episode. So yeah, let's anything else you want to say before we get into our favorite bits, Travis?
No, I think some other thoughts will come up as we rattle off some favorite bits and lines from this episode. Starting off with the very beginning, Curtis's fight with the political party, strategically not specified in this episode. I think that is something that we're gonna I expect for however long the show goes on, he will be as apolitical as a career politician can be. Not to isolate any fans of any party from being viewers of the show. Prove us wrong, Adult Swim. We dare you. But yeah, the not hanging up, like he goes to hang up the phone and it like falls off the phone and then he overhears the conversation. I like that. I like how it ties into the end of the episode as well, where they kind of come full circle on that. It's good stuff.
It's the saying Roosevelt, the wheelchair one, not the mustache one. And if you think about it,
that's pretty much how I differentiate them as well.
It really is. Like you could be like, it's like Rough Rider versus the New Deal, or wheelchair versus mustache.
Right.
That one works too.
Great Depression versus national parks. I mean, you got options, but that's the most direct, I think. O'Doyle also says Curtis refers to the David Ghost as a sexy roast comic. I found that interesting because I didn't feel like she was doing like a lot of comedy per se, but she was saying like a roast comic puts a magnifying glass on the things you're insecure about, right? Yeah. So in that way, she's kind of like a roast comic.
Yeah, and I'll skip a bullet here for a second, but when she first starts coming out of the water, she is kind of sexy, but then she comes up even further, and then she's got like so many like water balloon looking boobs.
What is he says she looks like like a carnival water balloon game or something like that. Yeah. Hanging from her elbows and stuff like that. All right, so they cut to the camp side of things, and Chomps is back. Chomps, the reoccurring character. I'm liking Chomps more and more every week. He's playing guitar. He's playing guitar at the camp, kind of bringing that background music. There's a line that O'Doyle says when he's comparing. I think it's like the government people with the lifers, and he's saying they don't mix. It's like oil and waddles. And Banks is like, "Do you mean water?" And he's like, "Whatever, college." So oil and waddles, that might be a new thing that becomes part of my vocabulary. It's one of those things you could say, and then like people would be like, "Did he say what I think he said?" But they probably wouldn't bring it up. They'd be like, "Yeah, like oil and waddles," and they're like, "Is it?" Never mind. Okay, so that's part of my life now.
Yeah. It's like my parents will love them, but sometimes they don't say the right words for when they mean certain things. And so my mom was talking about my younger brother and is like, yeah, his circadian rhythm is all messed up. And I'm like, no, I'll just stick with it. She also calls him Flantes. I love you, Mom. If you ever listen to this show, it's Flatas, Flatas, not Flantes.
Flantes. They're flaunting them. Okay. Yeah. The lifers, there's a line that one of them says, "We go hard for the nonpartisan side of government." This is just like the coolest uncool thing to say, possibly. We talked about David's water balloon carnival form. Yeah.
You think about the nonpartisan aspect of let's rewind before 2024, whenever this 2025, whenever the current administration started. There used to be this thing where everybody, like, there were like lifelong aides and people who were just in government, in the White House, that it was nonpartisan. They're like, yeah, I'm just a chef.
They're just federal employees that just work there. Like, regardless of who's in charge, we still have to do the accounting. We still have to be the resource advisor for the spend plan for the ballroom or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm the gardener. I have no political affiliation. I just want to make sure that the rose garden maintains a rose garden. So anyways, what's next? Dicks don't have mouths. Then how do we pee?
Yeah. O'Doyle's talking about the lifers and how they hate the president or whatever. They don't like him. They wouldn't care if he ate glass through his penis or something. Banks says dicks don't have mouths. O'Doyle's response then, how do we pee? Through your dick's mouth, apparently, is how that works.
I didn't hear this line. An ass cheek turkey put me down. Oh, that's right. It's when she's playing the hatchet, the axe throwing.
Yes.
And they've got the images of an ass on the target.
It's like a Xerox of Kennedy that he would like hand out to people or he'd sign them like autographs. And she perfectly splits all three, so to speak, an ass cheek turkey. That's what that is. I liked the moment where and in other episodes of this podcast I have done my due diligence and written down every name on a list. This list was so long. It was
so long.
I appreciate the bit. Me reading the names off on this podcast won't do it justice. So if you want to enjoy it again, go rewatch the episode. But Janice rattling off all of the previous chiefs of staff, and they were just Curtis's chiefs of staff. So these are all the people that have worked for President Curtis, and it's like probably 20 or 30 names. Like it feels like a ton of different people.
I don't remember what the name was, but it was like Charles Jr., Charles Sr., Charles Sr., and then later on Charles the Ghost of. It was like thrown in there towards the end there. But yeah, it was a long list.
There was one that was called like, was it like grass bear or something, or like it's just like a bear that can turn into grass or something. But then anyway, it wasn't creative bear or whatever. Yeah, it's good. It's good. We talked about the burn book a little bit. There's it's called the Commander in Brief instead of the Commander in Chief, which the second time I realized because like they're temporary, like presidents are temporary, so it's a Commander in Brief. They're brief.
Good,
but
good gag.
But one of the unspoken burns in the burn book is there's a picture of Roosevelt, the mustache one, and written underneath it, it just says, "Actually scared of big sticks." So, and speak softly, carry a big stick. He's actually scared of them. So I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
That was the mustache one. That's not the wheelchair one? No, I'm just joking. I knew. I know
this
that.
guy.
I know that. I know.
Still have the word dongle written down in front of me, by the way.
I'm scrolling down ahead to see when we can actually talk about dongle. But let's see. When offered a lifer shirt, they tell Banks she doesn't need to quit or do anything narratively unbelievable.
Yeah, a little slight fourth wall break, slight like, hey, we're actually in a TV show. I appreciate any of those, so I'll take it.
I think there was another one in there, but I don't quite remember what it is. So we'll move on. Which is, there's just something about doing tropes that just hits different.
Yeah, after they fly Curtis's Batman underwear up the flagpole. Another Salute Your Shorts reference. I'm just saying.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So after the Water Witch gets out, she escapes. Curtis says, "I quit. Oh, hey, I'm free now. I can finally eat something other than swamp water." She goes and kills a couple of Curtis's people, Kyle and Lisa. That's unfortunate. They were just getting serious. There's a couple of references to that.
Because like Curtis runs out. Not Kyle and Lisa. They were just getting serious because like they're making out on the hood of the car, right? That kind of funny. When he runs back into the camp and he's like, yeah, she's already killed Kyle and Lisa. And Banks's first response is, oh, they're just getting serious. That to me, well done. Well done. Chuckle, chuckle, haha.
Yeah, I feel bad for those two because their necks were snapped pretty good.
Yeah,
good.
they're pretty dead.
And she said like, oh, this feels pretty good. Too bad I can only kiss with my eyes closed.
Yeah, as the tentacles are like touching her neck. Yeah. Janice has a bedazzled axe from the axe throwing. I'm glad she has her own.
Did you have a bedazzle? This is probably something that you had as a kid, where like you had like the gems and like you could bedazzle your own like pants and stuff.
You think I, as a child, had a bedazzler?
Yeah, I've seen it in your garage.
I don't have one.
Yours, right?
My youngest daughter has a bedazzler.
Oh, I just always assumed
there are other people that live in my house, Brandon.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. There you go. I just
she bedazzled the face of a Labubu. I'm just gonna let you all know that. That's my child. My child did that. Moving on. They're trying to protect themselves. They go into the kind of the rec hall of Camp David. They're building a barrier, and classic Michael hands a drawer to Banks and says, what's a loose drawer gonna do? And he says, oh, what, we're barricade shaming? Is that what we're doing? Which is funny because, like, what is a loose drawer gonna do? But people are always throwing just random stuff on them barricades.
If you put enough loose drawers in front of a door, it's gonna stop it from opening.
How many loose drawers do you think it takes to barricade a door? Hit us in the comments. Let us know. Let's get that fan act.
Whoever gets it right will get my notes from the Silver Lake shorts event.
O'Doyle says that they're gonna need to defeat this witch a whole lot of copper, and I think it's Chomps that says, oh, it's a copper caper, which I like.
Let's see. Sandra wanting to abandon everyone and leave in the van. Like all those campers. They're
lifers.
Cliquish, but yeah, they wanna survive.
I was really glad that Sandra got eaten through that window, because it allowed the other character with the bedazzled jacket to yell, "Sandra, no!" Which let me know what her name was, because I didn't catch it at any other point in the episode. Yeah.
O'Doyle earlier in whenever I say O'Doyle, I think of like, what is it, Billy Madison? Like,
yeah.
O'Doyle rules.
Yeah, I got a feeling your whole family's going down. Yeah.
Anyway, so earlier in the episode, he's like, I've got like witch hazel, I've got this bullet. If I knew there was a water witch, I would have prepared earlier.
Yeah,
right?
I brought all the wrong things. Yeah.
And so he gets told, your ab hole never ceases to amaze me, Doyle, as he tries to make new bullets.
Yeah, he like eats all the copper. It like goes into his like leprechaun forge of a stomach, which he can then reach in through his abdominal muscles, and he pulls out like a copper stake. And Curtis says, your ab hole never ceases to amaze me. All right. They're about to capture the witch. I missed this on my first viewing of the episode, but they're all kind of gathering around in a circle. It's like, all right, everybody get your like insecurities ready, and remember that Latin I taught you 2 seconds ago, which is like a throwaway line, but it cracks me up. That it's like, oh yeah, and they briefly taught everyone Latin, a dead language. No problems.
When I was in high school, I wanted to learn Latin. I didn't want to learn Spanish or French or
like
anything
the
else.
Type.
I wanted to learn Latin because I'm like, if I'm going to have to be forced to learn a foreign language, I want a language that has nothing to do with anything anymore.
And can't really be spoken anywhere. Like,
yeah. Instead, I took like 60 extra electives. Like I was a TA, a couple periods of like drama. Yeah, I didn't have to do any foreign language, which is why, as a cruise, I know no Spanish.
no me digas.
Okay. Anyways,
All right. This is one of my favorite
lumps.
parts of the whole episode. It probably should be in my best and worst parts. But it's when they're in the circle, they're all saying their insecurities, and then Chomp says, "You didn't include me in either side of the story, and that really hurt my feelings." Again, a little bit of a fourth wall break, but a really good one. Really good one.
Yeah, that's when I was thinking of, like, there's another one.
Yeah.
That was the one. And then the callback to the not hanging up.
That's right.
At the very end, and then Banks says, "Nerd says what? Huh?
Got him.
Huh? You said
Got him.
nerd?
Got him.
Hang up."
Nerd. Yeah, those are some good bits. Not necessarily my favorite ones, because there's a reoccurring bit throughout the episode, and it's this third sort of not very much shown, sort of just alluded to storyline that's going on behind the scenes, all about this guy named Trent. Like O'Doyle's obsessed with Trent. He's kind of got off in his own world doing something with Trent. At one point, dead Trent just falls out of closet. They're like, "Who is that?" "It's Trent. Everybody knows Trent." We don't know Trent. We are very much in Banks's shoes here. Apparently, he has famous tearaway pants that everybody knows about. And then his post-credits funeral that O'Doyle attends, where he has some very kind words. And then we find out what Trent really thinks about O'Doyle when his father's like, "Yeah, you don't seem like the most annoying person in the office." What? Yeah, I thought that was good.
There's a little bit of Trent that is kind of a Tatty Mason.
Yeah.
Type of gag, right? Like where it's like, who is this guy you keep referring to? Like, it's not a real person. That's not that can't be. But instead, it is a real person. We just don't know anything about him, and why is O'Doyle so angry about him?
Yeah.
All the commander in brief stuff. The burn book, that was some good stuff. I didn't see the he's actually afraid of big sticks. I don't know why, but that
Probably making green chilies or something.
I love that. I love that line.
They talk about Reagan having like a troll in his closet that he would like practice making out with or something.
Oh yeah, that's what creates.
Yeah, buried the lead on that one. So like that's like the first thing she reads in it. It ends up being what they use to help Curtis with his insecurities or something, but he's like really not insecure about like 90% of them. He watches RoboCop every day and cries.
Yeah.
He's
Ed Neumeyer, great screenwriter. It's a fantastic screenplay. Sitting down to pee.
Yeah.
Like you don't get splashback.
He says spaghetti paschetti. Of course, it's cuter. And then the things that Banks had to say about him are in there as well. So,
yeah. We talked about the burrito manager vision a little bit. We talked about how we felt about that, so we'll just kind of skip past that because we've already talked about it. But then Michael from accounting just whining all the time.
Like it builds towards the end because it's like he's kind of like annoying in the beginning of the episode, but by the time they're all together, they really lay it on thick. Like it's like the thing with the barrier shaming, and then like they're trying to exit, and O'Doyle's like, "Everybody outside," and he's like, "But it says kitchen." And he's like, "There's an exit, Michael. Like there's an exit on the other side of it." There's a point where he says, "I'll give anyone $5,000 if they'll carry me," because he doesn't want to run anymore. And then his confession in the circle saying that he abused public trust and janitorial equipment so he could get out his bad diarrhea. It's like that character got real interesting real fast. I don't know.
It sure did. And then it's not here in the notes, Travis, but dongle is something we want to come back to. It looked like President Curtis had a very similar outfit to with a Rick and Morty episode where like he has like just like the brown little cloth in front of his wangle dangle.
Yeah.
But the reason I want to bring this his President Curtis's penis up is because talking to McDermott, they have to draw those things. They actually have to draw penises in order to blur them out. And I don't remember.
I don't know how that makes sense at all.
So they I don't know why. I'm not an animator, but they have to. And I think that the Rick and Morty episode where like it's just like that gigantic pile of orgy happening, and I was talking to him like, so you had to draw all of that stuff? Yeah, we drew all of that stuff to blur it out.
I mean, I guess if you're like,
I just think that's funny that you basically there's a cut of this episode where, or lots of Rick and Morty episodes where there's penises.
because they blur that stuff on the like versions that you buy and that like go on DVDs and that are like on HBO Max as well. So it's not blurred for like standards and practices reasoning. So what I feel like you're saying is like it is, but like for it to look realistic in how it's blurred, they have to draw it so that then when they apply the blur to it, it looks like what you're blurring is actually being blurred. Is what I think you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And that's why I wanted you to remind me.
This is real life. This is what we're talking about. We're using the internet to talk about this right now. Yeah, we're both in our 40s. Hey, we could have picked up golf. I'm glad we're doing this instead. All right. So there you go. That's the President Curtis episode 5, David. Those are our thoughts on it. If you have other thoughts, if we missed something or there's something that you feel like we should talk about, hit us up, comments. You can comment on the YouTube. You can send us an email. Do anything you want. Comment on Instagram, whatever it is. And we will try to cover that in an upcoming episode in a segment we call Listener Suggestions and Short Outs. Brandon, you got any short outs or suggestions that we should talk about?
Yeah, I just want to short out the people from the cast and crew that I got to meet. We have met periodically, either Comic Cons or the Silver Lake Shorts or just people we talk to online. Like everyone all of the fellow fans of Rick and Morty and President Curtis and all this stuff, like there's a lot of really, really fantastic and cool people that work on this show. And so just shout out to them. There was a few people I was like, hey, are you here? No, I got caught up doing something else. Hey, are you here? No, I'm in Chicago. Shit. Okay. Hey, are you here? No, I'm.
I had to wash my hair.
Yeah. But you got to meet those people. Good. Maybe next time. And it just that whole thing is just so super cool to me. And anyways, shout out to them who don't think that I'm a creepy ass stalker sending you a text.
Yeah. And I appreciate you, Brandon, for making it sound to the three of the biggest voice actors on the show that I am a creepy ass stalker at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I was just trying to give them space until the line wore down. You know, it's just
good news. They already thought you were.
All right.
Ian and I were just like, oh my God, am I right? He is so bad. Actually, so our friend Ryan, he's taller than both of us.
Facts.
He is also bald, and he's balding, much more balding than I am with my widow's peak. Not quite as much as Travis.
Nobody
but
is.
He did say to a couple people like, "Yeah, I'm Brandon's +1. I'm not as bald, but I am balding. So I'm trying to fit into place." So
Thanks,
anyways,
Ryan.
shout out
Thanks.
to Ryan.
Shout out to
All right.
Ryan. Short outs to Ryan. And to all of you, Unity, thank you for sticking around. Hopefully you're enjoying President Curtis and these recaps that we're doing. If you have other thoughts about the episode or anything going on, please drop us a line. We'll be back next week. Highly recommend you check out this week's episode. They showed it out at Comic-Con. It's a whole lot of fun. And we'll be back to talk about it next week. Until then, I'm Travis.
And I'm Brandon. Thank you so much
Bye.
for listening. Columbus is a piece of shit. Hesperia. He eradicated the natives.